Hey everyone, Mackie here playing Blueprints, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to beat the game. This is going to be separated into two halves, the first half being reaching and opening the antechamber, and the second half is going to be devoted to reaching room 46. Luckily, there are a lot of milestone moments in this journey, so even if you don't succeed on your first try, you should be making progress that'll help you long term. Before you start with a guide like this, you do want to get acquainted with the game, learn some of the mechanics, draft as many new and unique rooms as possible, and you can also get a couple of permanent upgrades. We'll go over these pretty quick, but you can go to the orchard behind the campsite outside, enter in code 1128, and this will start you with an extra 20 steps every single day. You can also open up the gemstone cavern. I won't go into detail about this, but it's a puzzle with the breaker box you can solve in order to get 2 gems every time you start a new day as well. Now, as a general strategy, when drafting, you want to try to maximize the amount of rooms you create in the bottom half of the mansion, as these rooms generally don't require a key, and they allow you to build up things like keys, gems, and coins. Now, simply reaching the antechamber itself isn't going to be quite enough, because the first time you get there, you'll notice that the door is locked, and there are 3 doors: the east door, south door, and west door. Each one of them has a corresponding lever you'll need to use in order to open it up. For example, the east door to the antechamber, or the right-hand side door, is unlocked by finding the room called the Great Hall. And there's going to be 3 doors on the left and 3 doors on the right as you enter. And one of these 6 doors is going to have a lever inside. This is going to require a little bit of RNG or a lot of keys, but pulling that lever opens up the right side of the antechamber, so you can now get inside via that passageway. Another option is to open up the south side, or the bottom door to the antechamber. This is going to require some stuff as well, which includes drafting the greenhouse. And once you enter the greenhouse, you may notice the lever, but it's actually going to be broken, and you'll need to find an item called the broken lever somewhere else in the mansion. This is obviously going to be randomized, but you can increase your chances by having something like a metal detector or a shovel, and some of the common rooms that can possess a broken lever are the security room, aquarium, and workshop. You then take your broken lever back to the greenhouse, interacting with it in order to open up that bottom door, now allowing you to enter the antechamber from that location. And another way you can open up the antechamber is from the left side or the west side, and for this you will need the key to the secret garden, which is a randomized pickup that can be found inside of chests or behind puzzles like the dartboard puzzle. You can also find it inside of the music room, and occasionally you'll be able to buy it from a vendor. Now, in order to make the secret garden, you'll need to find a locked door in column 1 or column 5, so it has to be on the far edge of a map. And then when the door is locked, use your special key, the secret garden key, to create the secret garden. Once here, you should be able to find a couple of dials that move the wind vane around, and you just want all 3 of the arrows to point west. Doing so will open up a secret door in the wall behind the little crescent moon, and behind that crescent moon is your lever. You can go ahead and pull this lever to open up the antechamber from the left. There are other levers available on the map, but it's not realistic that you'll be able to interact with them during your first win. Once you have opened up one of the antechamber doors, you want to go ahead and go inside, heading to the door that you opened up, minimizing the amount of rooms you build near the top of the map. This is because these rooms are expensive in terms of steps, keys, and gems, and we don't really need them at this point anymore. And upon reaching the antechamber and going inside, you'll see the pedestal raised from the middle of the room, revealing a basement key. And this basement key can be used in a couple of different ways, but for now, we are going to simplify things and use it in our foundation area. The foundation is a permanent room that you probably drafted somewhere near the very middle of your mansion, and it has 4 doors. Your goal is to build above the foundation with a linking door that touches the top of it. The goal here is that when you do this, you'll be able to find this lever behind the foundation, and when pulled, it will activate the elevator inside of the foundation, which is a permanent upgrade. The elevator will now always work inside of the foundation. With your basement key in hand, go ahead and ride the elevator down, and you'll now have the key to enter the underground, which is kind of the next section of this video. And you do have a couple of permanent upgrades with the foundation elevator and the basement key door in front of you now always being permanently unlocked. Additionally, while in the basement, you won't be using a lot of steps, so you don't really have to worry about that for now. And after that door, you'll enter a bit of a storage room. If you look up and to your right, there's a green button on the wall we'll need to push in order to open up access to the underground reservoir. And what you'll need to do is just move the carts around the room, slide them into places so that you can create a pathway to the button following the boxes on top. I'm not going to show you the entire strategy here. With seeing the final product, you should kind of understand how we got there. Pushing the button will slide over the bookcase, and behind that bookcase is a door to the rest of the underground. Now, you may not know this yet, but this is likely going to be the end of your run because there is a gear puzzle in front of you that you will not be able to solve. There is a minecart to your left that is blocking a tunnel. We need to move it from the other side, and you likely won't have enough steps to complete this, but don't worry, the whole pathway to get here is going to remain unlocked, so our next step is to remove that minecart. And there are going to be two ways to do this. I'll go through both of them right now. Option 1 will involve a room called the Tomb, and it is an outer room. In order to unlock outer rooms, you'll have to open up the west gate. Do that by getting a utility room breaker box, turning on the garage, then craft a garage in column 1 of your mansion. Open up the garage door and follow the path to open up the gate. And along this path, there is also a craftable room inside of a hill. Here, you will be able to get a chance at crafting something called the Tomb. Craft the Tomb and go inside, navigating around and locating 7 distinct statues you can interact with. This is the order you want to interact with them. This order is based on the stained glass windows inside of the chapel. If you were to look at them closely, they have Roman numerals, and we're clicking the statues based on the order of the Roman numerals inside of the chapel. Once you click through all of them in the correct order, you'll reveal a secret door, and that door is going to lead you further into the tomb and further into the underground, remembering we're trying to get behind that minecart. As you enter, look to the room to your right, you'll find a statue there. Interacting with it reveals yet another door to get us even further. At this point, we can use our newly opened door in order to get behind that minecart that was blocking our path earlier, and you can use the lever in order to pull it all the way to the far end, which is what we want to do. The reason we want to pull it all the way back is now we'll have access to the side tunnel while we're doing the rotating gear puzzle, and moving the cart is a permanent interaction. Wherever you leave it, that's where it'll stay in your subsequent days. There is another way to get behind and move the minecart. This is what I'll call option B. During your drafts, you want to make a pool. This will make it more likely that later on you'll draft something called the pump room. In the pump room, there's a series of gears and levers that you can use in order to completely drain out the fountain. There are a couple of tricky switches and knobs, including a dial behind the tanks to switch between them, and a valve on the far wall that allows you to drain and control the 6th tube. Your goal, however, is to completely drain out the fountain, and there is just enough space to do this. Now, the changes you make in the pump room are permanent, so if you've drained the fountain and you lose, on your next day, the fountain will still be drained. You'll also need a new basement key from the antechamber, so go ahead and grab that and bring it back to the fountain in front of the house. Here, you'll reveal a new staircase that you can take down, opening the basement door and ending up behind that same minecart we talked about earlier. Although this is the harder strategy, it's a way better long-term investment, as you can leave the fountain drained and the door unlocked. You have access to the minecart at any time in the future, never having to draft the tomb again. With the minecart moved, you're ready to go back to that rotating gear puzzle. Remember, it doesn't have to be on the same day. The minecart will stay wherever you put it, and all of the doors we opened up on previous days leading to the basement should stay open. So just take that elevator from the foundation down to the rotating gear puzzle, and here you should be able to rotate the gear puzzle leading to this new entrance behind the minecart. This allows us to just rotate the platform to line up to the exit, walk through the tunnel, and then end up on the other side, leading to what is close to the end of the game. Once in this hallway, just walk all the way to the end of it. It's far, but it shouldn't take many steps, and you should find a lever on the wall. Pull this lever in order to open up the north side of the antechamber. You may kind of see where we're going with this. In this room, there are also a bunch of doors. You'll have to get sanctum keys to open those up. You don't have to really worry about those until after you've beaten the game once or twice. I don't even think they spawn. But open up that lever to find out that at the north side of the antechamber, you have room number 46. At this point, all you want to do is navigate back to room 46 in your house. And once you get there, you should be able to walk through the antechamber, interacting with the door in order to beat the game for the very first time. Congratulations. Your first win is a pretty big moment. It's likely to be one of the first achievements or trophies you unlock. It also unlocks a whole bunch of new rooms you're able to get on your next days, and beating the game a second time allows you to unlock even more things. Thanks for watching. I hope the video was helpful. Special thanks to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. Drop a like. I'll see you soon. Peace.